There's planet old you and there's planet new you. There's the person you've always been and there's the person you want to become. And each of these identities, each of these people have a gravity to them. And the closer you get to either one, the stronger that gravitational pull becomes and the more difficult it becomes to pull out of that way of being, pull off of that planet. So the more time you spend embodying one of these identities, the more naturally you get pulled into its orbit, into its atmosphere. And each of these planets have an atmosphere, right? On each of these planets, the old version of you and the new version of you, there's a certain way of being. There's a certain set of beliefs. There's certain thought patterns. There's an emotional baseline, how you feel on a daily basis. There's a way of speaking to yourself, a way that people treat you. Each of these planets has an atmosphere. And each of these planets is governed by a set of rules, principles, standards, a way of being, okay? And the difference between the old you and the new you is pretty obvious. It's clear when you're investing your resources of time, attention, energy into either one of these identities, into either one of these planets. When you spend time on planet old you, that's a certain way of being. When you spend time on planet new you, that's a certain way of being as well. And the reason why the old you is so difficult to pull away from is because you keep investing these precious resources of time, attention, and energy into planet old you. When you do this, the old you only increases its mass even more. So it becomes even bigger, becomes even more larger of an object. And as a result of that, it increases its gravity as well. So it becomes more difficult to pull out of this old identity and to pull yourself into and drift into this new identity. So when you spend your time being this old person, when you keep investing these resources into this old you, you increase its mass and increase its gravity with it. So it becomes this thing where you try and pull away from the old you, but the gravity is so strong, the gravitational pull is with such strength that it just snaps you back into its orbit when you try and pull away from it. And this is really the nature of all self-sabotage, right? It's this gravitational force of identity. Self-sabotage is when you try to find a new way of doing things, when you start to embody this new identity, but the gravity of the old just snaps you back from the progress that you've made. So what do we do about this? What do we do about this? How do we decrease the mass of this old identity and start embodying this new identity, start increasing the mass of this new person? You need to start investing these resources into planet new you, into this new way of being, okay? So you need to create the polarity between the two people, between these two identities and what it's like on these two planets, the atmosphere of both of these planets, okay? So you think about the atmosphere of this new identity, because the old one, this is who you've always been, this is familiar to you. You know this way of being very well. So you have to create the polarity of this new planet, this new identity, this new way of being. So you think about the atmosphere. You think about the habits, routines, ways of thinking, ways of speaking to yourself. You think, how does this new version feel? How does it feel to be this person? Okay, what kind of emotions are you feeling on a regular basis? Okay? How does this new version of you behave? How do people treat you? What are the beliefs that you have? What are the beliefs that align with this new version? And as you start to process these things, as you start to create this polarity and spend more time in this realm, you start to increase the gravity, start to increase the mass of this new version of you. And you also begin to feel the tension that starts to happen between, there's this gravity of the old you, but you're pulling away from this one and you're investing in this new you, and there's a tension between the two that gets confusing and uncertain and off balance in a way. So you need to paint all the details very clearly here, okay? You need to get clear on the polarity, and you need to get very detailed on what these two people look like, what these two people feel like. And these are the two versions of you. These are the two planets that both have a gravity to them. So you start to dwell, you start to invest more resources into this new version of you. You start letting that marinate in your mind and putting more energy towards that. And by doing that, you increase the mass and in turn increase the gravity, right? You increase the mass, you increase the gravity by behaving as this person now. So you act with such conviction and you believe it until you know it to be true. I've talked about this in other videos with the self-concept. You can only believe something about yourself for so long until you just know it to be true. You can only practice those beliefs about yourself for so long until they just get programmed into your way of being. And it's just something you know. It's just second nature to you. What does it feel like to know? Think about that. What does it feel like to know something? To know something like I can look out my window here and see that the sky is blue. I know that the sky is blue. I know that my name is Carter. What does it feel like to know? The beliefs you have, how you view yourself, and this new you, this is a muscle to be trained. And eventually, you'll believe it for so long until you just know it to be true. And that's what you want. That's the kind of conviction you want to act with here. And you know it's who you are even before the full external results sprout up in your world. Okay? So when these times get confusing and uncertain, when those times happen, you know that it's just the gravity messing with you. It's just the gravity throwing you off balance, that pull between these two identities, that fight of pulling away from this old you and into the atmosphere of this new you. But you work with the laws of the universe here, because there will come a time when this gravity of planet old you becomes so weak that you snap out of this gravitational pull and you get into the stronger gravitational pull of planet new you. And that's where this atmosphere, this desired reality, effortlessly pulls you in.